Hello and welcome to listen to this introduction of AI4Cities PCB project. My name is Kaisa Sibelius and I'm the project coordinator. I come from the Forum Virium Helsinki, which is the development company owned by the city of Helsinki. AI4Cities is a project of 6 cities, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Paris region, which is presented by the business cluster and development company Cap Digital, Stavanger, Tallinn and Helsinki, and Forum Virium is presenting Helsinki. The 7th partner, ICLEI, is supporting the project and taking care of communications and preferred partners. From the total 6.6 million euro budget, 4.6 million euro are dedicated to suppliers of the PCB. PCB means pre-commercial procurement, and it's a method for public sector procurers to buy R&D from several suppliers in parallel to steer development of solutions to meet their needs. If in PCB, a minimum of 50% of the project resources must be spent on research and development. It means that there is clear separation of R&D and final product, or the deployment of commercial volumes of the end products. PCB is also a competition, and suppliers are competing through different phases of development, and the number of suppliers will decrease during the process, and the funding per supplier will increase in each phase. Competing companies and developers will be given the opportunity to come up with the innovative ideas for new digital-based solutions built on AI and related key enabling technologies, including 5G, IoT, cloud computing, and big data applications in 2 domains, mobility, which is lot 1, and energy, which is the lot 2, to help cities become carbon neutral. One very important point is that the solution needs radical innovation. No solution on or close to market yet. We have many good arguments why we have decided to ask you to invent AI-based solutions to help cities transition to carbon neutrality. While the cities have set more specific and measurable goals on carbon neutrality, it has also become evident that the scale and volumes of the interventions has to be higher. The pilots and interventions can be at least district-wide, if not city-wide. This has raised the demand on utilizing data-driven methods on improving resource efficiency. While the amount of data increase, big data and AI are seen as elements having a significant role in the data platforms of the cities. The role of AI can be seen larger than simply delivering an algorithm that solves the defined problem. AI can help to track exceptions in source data, preventing incorrect decisions, identify bias, or even deliberate attempt to affect decision making. As enabling technologies and platforms are becoming easily available and mature, the role of projects can focus more on supporting the development of applications for targeted domains. Even if an actual core problem does not require artificial intelligence at all, AI can be beneficial in improving the quality of decision-making, and it's up to the tenderer to include such a meaningful role that it's mandatory in order to be successful in the process. Merging physical city public assets like infrastructure or public transportation networks with the digital layer through the use of AI with other enabling digital technologies can utilize new solutions to solve climate change challenges. Open source, distributed systems, reusability and open data models are vital elements of creating future ecosystems that will benefit products based on AI technologies. The AI models themselves need to be explainable, transparent and reliable and provided by trusted actors. A successful solution in PCB will go well beyond the state of the art and the minimum solutions to the stated problem. All the buyers group cities has set the target to become carbon neutral by 2050, at layest, and the most ambitious is Copenhagen, which wants to achieve it already by 2025. Average 84% of the CO2 emissions in the Western European cities comes from energy and transportation, but it varies, and for example, in Helsinki, the rate is even 95%. Addition to supporting the climate goals of the cities, another strategic goal is to support digitalization and the data strategies of the cities. And when we are talking about the objectives of the project, we like to enhance better living and working conditions for the citizens. Reduction of energy and consumptions and cost addition to lower the carbon footprint. In the tender documents, we are talking about buyers group, that mean the project partner cities and Cap Digital and Forum Virium Helsinki. And this group has defined the sub-challenges which are presented in the separate video. The buyers are also responsible for selecting the suppliers in the beginning of the phases and validating the results in the end. The buyers group support the selected supplier during the PCP and piloting. Forum Virium Helsinki, as a lead procurer, presents the buyers group, and it's the main administrative contact point of the suppliers. And a supplier can be a company or a consortium and will sign the framework agreement and specific agreements for each phase. Next, I will move on to explain what is the pre-commercial procurement. Innovation procurement is a relatively new and very important tool since it allows the public sector to drive innovation from the demand side. So, by using the PCP, the cities can modernize public services faster and be able to cope with the current societal challenges or wicked problems such as climate change, which we would not be able to address via traditional public procurement instruments. It also creates opportunities for companies in Europe to bring research results to the market and gain leadership in new markets. In EU, we have the Horizon 2020 program. There are two complementary types of innovation procurement. The first being the pre-commercial procurement, the PCP, which address the development and testing of innovative solutions, and the second being the public procurement of innovative solutions, PPI, which focused on the deployment of innovative solutions, such as the ones developed in PCP like ours. PCPs are a great innovative tool, not just for the cities, but also for the industry, research and developers. It helps cities to work together by tackling joint challenges and to challenge the industry to develop innovative solutions for public unmet needs. For us, the buyers group, we can compare alternative potential technologies and filter out the best possible solutions that the market can deliver to address our needs. And for suppliers, you get the first customer reference, which creates a competitive advantage on the market. Here is listed the key principles of PCPs when compared with traditional public procurement. First, it's a joint procurement. So we have multiple public procurers with the common need, joint forces by forming a PCP buyers group. The buyers group is presented by the lead procurer figure who acts on behalf of the group. And all the contracts are done by the lead procurer. And in our case, Forum Virium Helsinki, in accordance with local public law. PCP has higher risk compared to traditional procurement since it focuses on disruptive innovations and not yet market-ready technologies that are applied in difficult contexts. So the proposed solutions need to bring radical innovation in a sense that no similar solutions are available at this moment or in the near term. Third point is that the PCPs provide a challenge which can be broken down into sub-challenges or specific needs. These are presented to you as functional specifications. So we do not provide technical specifications or try to define how the solution should look like. In fact, AI4Cities offers a wide range of so-called sub-challenges or needs in order to foster innovation. Our key criteria involves around helping cities achieve carbon neutrality. Because PCB is a challenge-based competition, we have several suppliers competing through different phases of deployment. This means a minimum of 2 suppliers should be involved until the procurement ends. It is the process of shared risk and rewards. Although the buyers receive the right to utilize the solution royalty-free, the IPRs remains with the suppliers, which will have the obligation to exploit it within 4 years after the project ends. This means we expect suppliers to provide their own resources in addition to the funding available. For that purpose, suppliers are requested to present their offers with and without the selling of IPRs in order for us to properly calculate price under market conditions and the sharing of cost between the buyers and the suppliers. PCB is a procurement of research and development of new innovative solutions before they are commercially available. So the focus in R&D is on R&D, and we cannot fund any end product development of the deployment of commercial volumes of end products. So there is a minimum requirement for at least 50% of the project resources to be spent in R&D. One important point is that the PCB fall outside WTO and EU directives that regulate public procurement. We will still work within the principles of transparency and equality, but we do work in much more agile and flexible manner. Although the competition is open to all, this is an European R&D tool, and as such, a minimum of 50% of the project activities and budget usage must take place in the EU or associated countries. So non-EU companies need to work via subsidiaries or in partnership with the EU companies. Their funding cannot exceed 50% of the total budget requested. And the last point is that the procurement takes place over 3 phases in an interactive and collaborative way. We will look to the PCB phases next. And here you can see the overall structure of the PCB, which we are also following in AI4Cities. And the project lasts 3 years, and it's divided into 5 key stages. 3 of them are part of the procurement agreement with the suppliers, and they are called PCB phases 1, 2, and 3. And the other 2 are linked with the PCB preparation phase 0, which is the open market consultation, and the PCB results exploitation phase in phase 4. In this presentation, we are focusing on the phases 1, 2, and 3. This figure gives you an overall idea about the project timeline and the expected duration per phase. Now we have moved from the preparation phase towards the execution, and the request for tenders is published, and it will be open until 28th of February 2021. And the procurement starts with the PCB phase 1 solution design. We plan to have 20 suppliers per mobility and energy lots, which is the 40 suppliers in total. This large number reflects the expected wide variety of proposed solutions covering several of the sub-challenges or needs identified by the cities. The estimated budget for this phase is 1.6 million euro and the maximum 40,000 euro per supplier. This phase lasts 3 months, and it's designed to be highly interactive, with all buyers providing as much insight into the challenges and needs as possible, so that you have the opportunity to get deeply familiarized with our realities, end user wishes, and underlying smart city infrastructure, data, etc. At the end of this phase, we expect to see an exhaustive technical specification of your solution, a plan for the prototype development, and phase 2 implementation plan, including the budget needed and the business plan draft for its future exploitation. Prior to the end of the phase 1, we will provide you what we call a phase 2 call-off document, which elaborates on the request for tenders information by going deeper towards the requirements, timings, and phase 2 expectations. We also add there as much relevant information as possible from the buyer side in order to help you to develop the best possible solutions. Based on outputs of phase 1, we firstly assess if you have performed well and successfully completed the phase, in which case we evaluate your phase 2 offer and select the suppliers moving to the next phase. We expect to select 10 suppliers per lot 1 in phase 2. This number can change depending on the quality of the offers and budget availability. The maximum budget is doubled per supplier, and it can be up to 80,000 euros. You will have 4 months to develop your prototypes, so we expect suppliers to focus on the prototype development in a lean and agile way, so by the end of the phase, they are mature enough to be able to be tested at the end of the phase in a lab environment. Similar to phase 1, prior of the end of the phase 2, we will provide you a phase 3 call-off document, which will outline in great detail how phase 3 will be performed, including some preliminary matchmaking between the supplier solutions and the cities where such prototypes could be tested if they move into phase 3. At the end of phase 2, you will provide the prototype technical specs and run a demo if your performance is considered satisfactory. We'll look into your phase 3 offers and select who moves in the next and final phase. In phase 3, we expect to have a minimum of 3 suppliers selected per mobility and energy lot. Again, this number can change depending on the quality of the offers and budget availability. Phase 3 lasts 6 months, and it focuses on the testing of each solution in real-life setting in an expected minimum of 2 cities. During this, you will also continue the development of prototype so that by the end of phase 3, they are as mature and close to the market validation as it's possible under the constraints of this procurement process. At the end of phase 3, a supplier performance and solution functional evaluation takes place. Our expectation is that the prototypes deployed and improved during this phase are mature and relevant enough that we the cities will have an interest in continuing to use the versions for the foreseeable future, which would mean you will perform as considered successful. The maximum budget which one supplier or consortium can get is to 244,000 euro. And if you will pass the phase 3 successfully, the maximum funding you can get is total a bit over 360,000 euro. And this is the end of the project introduction. You can find more information about the project on our website, or you can always send us emails. Please note that there are separate videos about the mobility and energy challenges, technical specifications, and the selection process and eligibility criteria. We have also published a tendering guide, which you can download from the project site. Thank you for your attention, and goodbye.